If you haven't watched the first part of this 4-part opening episode, make sure to click the annotation card here in the top right to not miss the beginning. Following the successful launch of Super Mario Galaxy, Shigeru Miyamoto, who saw the strength of the Galaxy brand, shortly after asked for more. This was an unprecedented move, which required a solid campaign of convincing from Yoshiaki Koizumi to the team at EAD Tokyo. Eventually, the development of Galaxy 2 started with an aim to bring back rideable Yoshi. Though the return of a fast, agile, and powerful Yoshi with transformations was just the beginning, as reusing the game engine, the spheric platforms, and most of the assets from Super Mario Galaxy meant that the team at EAD Tokyo could put their effort into implementing new ideas. This thought of thinking derived from the experience Miyamoto had with developing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask shortly after the Ocarina of Time for the N64. Quote, Shigeru Miyamoto, "Just as The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask built upon the foundation laid by The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, in making Super Mario Galaxy 2, we reevaluated the spherical environments of the first Super Mario Galaxy and noticed some things that could be done better. With lack of any pressure to deliver a new mainline 3D Mario for several years, the restocked team at EAD Tokyo could take their time from 2007 to 2010 to perfect the Galaxy recipe. Being a sequel to one of the most acclaimed games of all time, Super Mario Galaxy 2 naturally needed to distinguish itself from the original. As a result, brand new enemies, game-changing power-ups such as Cloud and Rock Mario, and items such as the drill were included, and the tutorial was made optional instead of mandatory. On the other hand, Koizumi aimed to heavily improve the pacing in Galaxy 2. As a result, early on in the development, the decision was made to include a world map similar to 2D Mario games and the immensely successful new Super Mario Bros. Series. Along the way, the team realized that Mario needed a craft to travel between the different galaxies, which resulted that Koizumi's proposition from 2005 Starship Mario was finally included. The second great gameplay change apart from handcrafting levels for Yoshi gameplay was the emphasis on switching circumstances, which would radically change the nature of some galaxies in the game. One of these, the drill, required more than 1 month of initial testing to find a suitable way of using this new item to quickly get from one side of a sphere to the other. Furthermore, in order to not stick too heavily to one or two ideas, the team hosted regular brainstorming sessions for collecting new ideas to the game. Still, this clearly wasn't enough, as producer Koizumi eventually gave the green light to prepare a tool for designers and even the sound team to make prototype stages, where many of these, surprisingly, after some alterations, made it into the final game. This process of brainstorming and the 2.5 years spent on creating new prototypes, stages, and improving the camera was possible, as the team had not to worry about crafting a brand new engine. The Galaxy engine was one of a kind and didn't need greater alteration due to lack of any competition, as Nintendo President Satoru Iwata highlighted in his Iwata Asks for the game. I think a big factor is that the sphere and gravity system is only used in Super Mario Galaxy games. I mean, no one is trying to come up with ideas revolving around spherical landforms and gravity shifts. Development on the game continued with emphasis on resonance, which eventually resulted in the story and lore being much more downplayed compared to the first Galaxy game. Instead, the team included throwbacks to previous games such as Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, and more importantly, 120 additional challenging green Power Star challenges upon collecting all 120 yellow stars in the main game. despite leaving the steers on a composition of the Zelda series to new talents, like in Super Mario Galaxy. Koji Kondo, along with Mahito Yokota, returned to put together another orchestral masterpiece. Though this time, they were joined by fellow composer Ryo Nagamatsu and a greater big band-style orchestra, which included trumpets, trombones, saxophones, and drums. By June 2009, the game was very far in development and ready to be revealed at E3. There, Miyamoto confirmed that the game was held back to a mid-2010 release due to the release of new Super Mario Bros. Wii in 2009, a decision which could have had an impact on the sales of Galaxy 2. Even so, since the game was to be launched prior to E3 2010, Nintendo made Super Mario Galaxy 2 playable in February 2010 during the Nintendo Media Summit in San Francisco, California, with later events in Europe and Japan. In Europe, the demo included this rather embarrassing how-to-play DVD. Super Mario Galaxy 2 was met with universal critical acclaim at launch, scoring the same rating on Metacritic as Galaxy 1. Though both games share the same Metacritic score of 97, Super Mario Galaxy 2 is widely considered by fans to be better than the first, with a more realized version of the concepts presented in Galaxy 1. Fortunately, after the sequel's release in 2010, fans would not have to wait long for EAD Tokyo's next 3D venture. Only this time, it would be on Nintendo's next handheld, the 3DS. Normally on a handheld device, one would expect a Mario game to be 2D like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and the 3DS managed to get one of those as well, but that was not enough. Koichi Hayashida, the director of Super Mario 3D Land, was the one who came up with the idea of putting a new 3D Mario on a handheld system. This already happened once before with the Super Mario 64 remake on the Nintendo DS, but the key word for this project was reset. Rather than making another game like Galaxy, the team decided it would be best to rethink the rules of 3D Mario and how best it could complement a handheld, such as making the levels smaller, as stated by Mr. Hayashida. Quote, Hayashida, "Some people can play on the train when you commute. I live a few stations away from the station nearest from my home to the company's. So at first, I thought I should aim for light courses that you could clear in about that time and stop playing whenever you got off the train. There was also the issue of making a 3D Mario game that was accessible to the casual audience. The Galaxy games began such a trend, but some less experienced players felt alienated and overwhelmed by the grand design of those games. So in order to resolve this issue, they thought about bridging the gap between 2D games and 3D games by making the goal for each level to reach the flagpole at the end. This caused the levels to be linear and bound, completely unlike 3D Mario. Planning leader for the game, Daisuke Tsujimura, said, quote, "What we were careful about this time was making courses that would clearly guide the player. We basically designed the courses this time so you head to the right or advance deeper in to definitely reach a goal. We also put in arrows to guide you and made fences on the course. We devised various ways for you to reach the goal." Super Mario 3D Land saw the return of Tanuki Mario from Super Mario Bros., and there were even enemies with Tanuki tails, who could glide as well. Luigi also made another appearance as a playable character. In the end, Super Mario 3D Land was met with critical praise, standing at a Metacritic score of 90. The formula for 3D Mario established by this game proved to be a welcome addition to the handheld games. However, little did fans know that this would serve as a basis for the next game on Nintendo's home console, the Wii U. Since shortly after the beginning of the development of 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World was already being planned as a continuation of said game. With the launch of 3D Land in 2011, the team turned their attention to 3D World, though there was one big change underway. Since Kenta Motokura, who had since Super Mario Sunshine been a designer at EAD Kyoto and Tokyo, was finally promoted to the position of co-director with Koichi Hayashida for the development of Super Mario 3D World. Surprisingly, for once, series creator Shigeru Miyamoto would not upend any testables this time, as Super Mario 3D World was a natural evolution of the established formula found in Super Mario 3D Land in an attempt to culminate linear 3D Mario. This situation was similar to the one seen during the development of Super Mario Galaxy 2, where the team at EAD Tokyo had ideas that they simply couldn't implement in the previous game. One of the most substantial of these was a highly competitive 4-player multiplayer, with unique traits for playable Mario, Luigi, and Toad. This wasn't enough for producer Yoshiaki Koizumi, who decided that for the first time in a mainline Mario game since Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, there would be a playable Princess Peach. It would soon turn out that this was merely the beginning of packing the game chock full of content. As with Kenta Motokura behind the wheel, it soon became a policy to put everything in. As a result, the new co-director would make the team throw out ideas multiple times to reach the rather ambitious goal. This approach required soon a doubling of the staff from 50 to 100 by the late stages of development. And with this hiring spree, as highlighted by co-director Hayashida, came 3 times as many ideas for the game. One of these ideas was the proposal to have the playable characters crawl and run on all 4. But after Koizumi and Miyamoto saw what this meant for Princess Peach, the team settled on a Cat Mario power-up. This one, to Nintendo President Iwata's great surprise, made it possible to not only climb walls, but even the iconic gold flagpole. The feeling of fun, level creativity, and the key element in every Mario game, the run and jump, were essential to Super Mario 3D World's development and programming of Cat Mario. Quote director Motokura, "This time, we prioritized on that great feeling you get when you run and jump. In that process, we came up with 2 separate ideas, running on all 4s and climbing up a wall. Both were actions that Mario usually doesn't have, and those ideas triggered our decision. Still, Cat Mario was only the beginning, as with Super Mario 3D World, EAD Tokyo packed the game full with power-ups such as Fire Mario, Boomerang Mario, Tanuki Mario, Maneki Neko Lucky Cat Mario, Statue Mario, and finally, Double Mario. Double Mario and Cat Mario in particular offered brand new gameplay opportunities, while the story of how Double Mario came to be is, quote, Motokura. Well, actually, we discovered that when a staff member made a mistake with the placement tool and put in 2-player Marios, when we saw that, we thought it was great, so we went ahead and put that in the game. Joking aside, both Double Mario and Cat Mario led the team to create spots or place stars in locations which would require said power-up to be reached. For Double Mario, these would be specific panels, and for Cat Mario, climbing obstacles to reach additional star challenges. This design fit the frantic and deep-layered stages incredibly well, especially since the team decided, like in 3D Land, not to experiment and stick to a parallel camera. This naturally marked for a more linear level design, but in Super Mario 3D World, reaching a number of the green stars required to progress deeper into the games was deliberately placed in locations that required extensive player exploration. According to Motokura, on the surface, the game was to appear as kawaii or cute, but at the same time offer unique themes such as historical Japan and Mario Kart, and challenging level design later on for the experienced player. However, the traditional multi-layered linear 3D stages, maps, toad houses, and special challenges resembling the structure from Super Mario Bros. 3 wasn't enough for the team who, in the middle of development, decided to include a brand new mode, Captain's Toad Adventure. These bonus stages let the player fully control a 3D camera to navigate Captain Toad, who was unable to jump and had to solve puzzles and speak his way around to reach these additional green stars. Some emphasis during development was also put on integrating the Wii U gamepad's touchscreen, microphone, and Miiverse functionality into the gameplay and some of the level design for certain stages. Outside of a very streamlined main campaign for Super Mario 3D World, Nintendo EAD Tokyo decided to extend the game with a substantial and really challenging post-game section with new stages and a playable Rosalina. thus confirming that her appearance wasn't solely tied to the Galaxy series. To fit this radically diverse 3D Mario experience, Koji Kondo, Mahito Yokota, Toru Minegishi, and Yasuaki Iwata went for a more jazzy approach to their orchestrated soundtrack recorded by the Mario 3D World Big Band. The easily approachable but hard to complete Super Mario 3D World remained a well-guarded secret of EAD Tokyo, and since it was only on a year in development, it was nowhere to be seen in Wii U's lineup during Nintendo's last to this date E3 press conference in 2012. Instead, the game was first teased during the January 2013 Nintendo Direct and finally revealed in Nintendo's special E3 2013 Direct to Mixed reception. Nintendo would eventually turn around the initial skepticism for 3D World with a competent gameplay trailer in the beginning of October 2013, demonstrating in detail how packed the game was with content. But the history of the reception of said game, the internal changes that occurred after, and the development of Super Mario Odyssey will be told in the final part of Episode 1 of Nintendo History, History of 3D Mario. This one is coming on the launch date of Super Mario Odyssey, Friday, October 27th. We also want to remind that Nintendo History is financed fully through our patrons, and in particular, royal producers Transcendent Sacred Courage and Kenyatta Ali. Truth be told, this is our most expensive endeavor to date, and we need your support and backing at patreon.com/commonrealm to keep this series alive, especially if we want this to remain a weekly series.